Today we are traveling to Zagreb, the capital of Croatia. It was the start of the summer, and tourists already begin to enjoy this beautiful country with endless sea. On June 13, 2025, a horrific murder took place in Zagreb. At exactly 7:08 p.m., a gunman shot 16 shots at the two innocent victims, taking their life on the spot. This is the case of Andrea and Marijan. Let's first give the face to the victims. And when I'm researching these cases, I can only get a glimpse of who the victims are through their social media or through the descriptions that their families are sharing. But I always feel you cannot really capture the personality of the person, the energy that the person radiates around people that are close to them. So in general, always when I'm describing the victim, in this case Andrea and Marijan, keep that in mind. So first we will take a look who Marijan was. I didn't find much about him. He was described as a normal guy without any enemies, nice and put together. And he actually returned from Ireland back home to Croatia. It was reported that when his father passed away and his grandmother passed away, he inherited the property, which he sold. And then with that money, he did a big jump and moved to Ireland for work. Croatia is really known for a huge diaspora. A lot of people cannot find job in this beautiful country and move abroad for a better life. But he, Marijan, actually came back to Croatia and began to build his life there. On his Instagram, that was quite recent, by the way, he doesn't have much published. I have a feeling that when he started to date Andrea, that then he started to be more active on Instagram. So he basically was posting photos of traveling around Croatia or neighboring countries and about the food and his passion, poker. I am not sure if poker playing was his profession or just a passion, but they, Marijan and Andrea, actually met in casino because she was a cashier there. At the time when he passed away, he was only 39 years old. And Andrea, who was 29 at the time, had much bigger presence on social media. She was a cat lover. At some point, she had a cat that she called Nico, and her photos of social media looks really nice. She always wrote a little capture with them that read like a story, or she cited some poems, or she used some quote that always got me wondering, what is she actually meaning by that? Through her social media post, it seems to me that she had close relationship with her sister Mateja, and actually her last post was a collection of photos from Ljubljana. Ljubljana is the capital of Slovenia and only about 78 miles from Zagreb, and they surprised Mateja with a trip to Ljubljana. The two sisters went on this surprise trip with their partners and placed a love lock on the bridge, but they didn't know it would be their last trip together. For Andrea and Marijan, the last trip ever. Andrea's life was short but full of passions. You can really see how versatile she was. She studied social work at University of Zagreb, but she never became social worker. Actually, as a child, she was training Taekwondo, and at first, she even worked as a Taekwondo trainer at a local club. Sport seemed to run in the family because both sisters were really sporty, and Mateja, Andrea's sister, even made a career out of sport and nutrition. If you see Andrea's social media photos, you can see she loved photography, and she even launched a freelance business for photography and videography. She even had a YouTube channel, and about 4 years ago, she published her first video. The video was about the car. She was an adamant car lover. But she stopped after the first video, and she actually returned to YouTube around 10 months ago. She recorded a video about island rap that she enjoyed together with Marijan. And it's really heartbreaking to think that she will never have another summer again. She also loved painting. You can find paintings and sketches on her profile, and she loved food. But her biggest love, however, may have been cars. That passion appears again and again throughout her social media. And for several years, Andrea worked as a cashier in casino. And as I mentioned, this is where they actually met. In June 2024, Marijan and Andrea founded a company called Love Revolution. The company was registered as a restaurant and food service. Some people pull out the information that actually it was linked to a pizza bar, but nothing came to the fruition yet. This bar doesn't exist now, but they register it and probably plan to work on it over time. Andrea had a tattoo on her left leg that reads, "You keep me safe, I will keep you wild." And I must say that her social media reflect that quote, but who she really truly was as a person, only her family and friends know. I haven't mentioned one important thing yet. She was actually a mother to her young daughter. I believe the daughter must have been around 4 years old, and on that evening, Andrea and Marijan were supposed to go to Andrea's ex-husband. His name is Andrei, so Andrea and Andrei, to pick up the daughter that she shared with Andrei and take her to her parents, so to the daughter's grandparents, because she was going to work a night shift at the casino. But they never arrived at her parents' place because somebody was waiting for them in the garage of their building complex. Let's take a look at what happened. Thanks to the CCTV, police was able to quickly piece together who was responsible for the murders, and the two names came up, Mattia and Fran. The two men met that evening on Selindic Street, which is a part of Zagreb, and this area of Zagreb is less than 4 kilometers. I think that's around 2 miles from Andreas and Marijan's home. And at around 5 p.m., the person that lived there noticed these two younger guys. And it's pretty common to go and check and ask, "What's up? What are you doing here? Do you need help?" So they explained that the motorcycle broke down and that they actually will go to the mechanic. Fran was the one with the car and Mattia was the one with motorcycle. Fran stayed with this guy from this street, from this area of Zagreb, and chat with him while Mattia went to fix his motorcycle. But this was a lie. The motorcycle has not broken down. Mattia actually went straight to the location of the murder. To avoid recognition, Fran and Mattia tape these Kawasaki features with tape, so they believe this is how they will avoid detection. But they did that on the street. People saw them, and it's also recorded on CCTV. Mattia entered the building through the main stairwell and waited for Andrea and Marijan to come down from their apartment to the garage where Andrea's Audi was parked. They were supposed to pick up her daughter. They went into the car. She was in the driving seat and Marijan was next to her. The killer walked up to the car and from a close range fired at least 16 bullets. Both of them died instantly. He fired more bullets towards Andrea compared to Marijan. After the murder, he returned with his motorcycle to the spot where Fran was still chatting with a neighbor. Later, the two of them changed clothes and removed the tape from Kawasaki and went their separate ways. Mattia went to his job and Fran back to his apartment that was located in Trešnjevka. And wait till you hear where Mattia was working. Mattia was actually a member of Croatian army, and people found out his interview from back in the day where he was interviewed for Croatian TV, and he said, quote, "In the Croatian army, I found myself. It is a kind of brotherhood where we care for each other and where there is no difference from person to person. Everyone is treated equally." He went a step further in his career and was a member of the Honor Guard Battalion. And this is the elite guard that protects the president of Croatia. This was shock to the public. How is this possible? You need to do so many tests, psychological and physical tests, to pass the bar for this elite guard. But the reality is, even with the filters, you cannot always filter everyone. Matthias' social media, which was turned private, was full of him on a motorcycle, being with his dog, and his Instagram bio read, first was the emoji of unicorn, and then he wrote untrained, undisciplined, and uncircumcised. It's interesting because if you are in the military, you are actually disciplined and trained. He had his own apartment in the same apartment building as his parents, and when the police came, his mom gave a statement that she didn't have the clue that he was part of this murder. And his accomplice, Fran, has also really interesting background. Similar to Mattia, his Instagram is full of motorcycle photos, dog and cars. So again, both with similar interest. To me, when I check their social media, their interests were similar to Andrea's. Andrea wasn't into the motorcycles, but she was into the cars. And on the internet, there was a little argument or dispute that you can really see through their social media that they are a bad boys. But actually, majority of people believe that no, pretty normal guys with a specific interest. And one person on Reddit actually wrote, "I know one person, and believe me, I am shocked since I heard it, because I would never, in the capital letters, but never say that this guy is capable of doing that. I mean, a really nice guy from my perspective. I don't know what to say. I still hope it's some kind of a setup." Of course, it's Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt. Fran is coming from a wealthy family. His mom is a designer and dad is a pilot, and they both live and work in UAE. They own a flat in the center of Zagreb and also a business space in Trešnjevka. This is a part of Zagreb where also Fran was renting his apartment, and parents also own a large weekend house. Fran is clearly coming from money, and he once ran a bike repair business, but it was shut down. And he also worked in a well-known restaurant in Zagreb as a cook, but something happened with a girl, and I couldn't find out what. But after this incident, he left this job. And he often said that he lived in Netherlands, America, and Dubai. Somebody who knew him said that he had many expensive hobbies. One of them was shooting. And on Instagram, you can also see him in a shooting range. And when the police arrest both of them, they found pistols in their apartments, and they have the permit for all of their pistols. Evidence against these two guys were really mounting up. And the key piece of evidence came from the CCTV. The footage showed the tape-up motorcycle entering the Chernavada street, this is where the murder took place, at 5:12 p.m. and the same motorcycle with the same rider leaving at 6:21 p.m. And even more incriminating, Mattia has brought his mobile phone with him to the crime scene, which of course then allowed police to put him at the location at exact time that murder took place. Basically, both had a mobile phone with them, and also they both were in highly recognizable vehicles. Although they tried to tape this motorcycle, but of course Kawasaki has such prominent features that you cannot really hide it. So they were trying to cover up the crime, but actually they did a really bad job. Famous criminologist Russell Durant wrote in his book that he noted that many offenders either don't think about being caught, so they are not thinking ahead that they will get caught, or believe that there is a really slim chance that they will get caught. In other words, they underestimate the risk of getting caught. Police arrested them both at the same time. They were in separate apartments, but they arrested them at the same time. So maybe that one of them couldn't escape because he would see that the other accomplice was arrested. Like I mentioned, they found a weapon that they had license for in both apartments. And Fran also gave them the tape with which they tape Kawasaki and also clothes he wore that day. Fran hired a really famous defense lawyer, and the lawyer said that he denies the guilt. He is charged, actually, they are both charged with aggravated murder. I am wondering what role Fran played in this murder. He didn't kill them, but it looks like he was part of planning. We need to see, but they were both charged with the same crime. How are these two guys connected to the victims? And the internet was speculating that it was liquidation. Well, it looked like one. So, rightfully so, they thought that it was liquidation. Maybe Andrea and Marijan were having some sort of debt or shady business. But it turned out that at the police interrogation, Fran incriminated Andrea's ex-husband as the mastermind behind this murder. The phone record showed that they met several times in May and June, and the last meeting was actually a few days before the murder. Mattia, Fran, and Andrei were the members of the same motorcycle club. Andrei provided information about Andrea's home address, a daily routine, and he knew exact time because Andrea was picking up their daughter that was with him, with Andrei, that time. So he knew exact time when Andrea would be going into the garage and leaving to pick up her daughter. They all deleted these messages between them, but of course, police got them back. Mattia or Fran said, I don't know which one of them said that, but Andrei was able to convince them that Andrea didn't let him see his child and that Marijan was abusing the child. And what was Andrei doing while he knew that Andrea and Marijan are getting killed? He was creating the alibi for himself. He recorded himself playing PlayStation, and this was really off to his friends, especially when he was supposed to hand over his daughter to Andrea. In PlayStation, there is a built-in feature called Share button, and if you use it, it captures screenshots and saves recent gameplay videos, and he was using that to create an alibi. Andrea's and Andrei relationship was actually really volatile. There was the physical abuse going on from his side, and they actually divorced because of it around 2021. I checked his Instagram and you can see the wedding photo, and underneath he wrote, "Memories stay, people don't." Look at the hashtags. Few are normal people, nature, expectation, but the others are promises, loyalty, other person, lies, wake up, dream, lesson. He might be really resentful that she walked away. Throughout his Instagram, you can see that he traveled the world. He allegedly worked on a cruise ship until around 2018. He and Andrea shared a love for cars. At the start of their relationship, Andrei sold Andrea his Honda so he can purchase a different car. And when they got separated, Andrea sold this Honda to someone in Istria. This is a part of Croatia. And recently, Andrei repurchased this Honda and posted it online. He wrote, "Finally reunited." I'm talking about his lifestyle and him buying this car back from someone from Istria, because on the custody dispute, you can see that he stated that he works as a waiter and he earns 400 euros per month, and he paid 100 euros in child support. But on social media, people in a different Facebook groups saw how he was reselling cars and motorcycles and buying parts. In Facebook groups, he claimed to own a rare BMW worth around 72,000 euros, but he advertised and sold it for 60,000 euros just before his arrest. This information is coming out of Facebook group, so I cannot say yes, this is for sure him, and he actually had much more money as he presented it in the court. Was this dispute because of the money, because of the time the daughter spent with him? But actually, they were sharing 50-50 custody, more or less. Andrea had a daughter from Monday to Friday, and he had her from Friday to Monday. And sometimes the daughter was with him also on Thursdays. It seemed pretty fair, the division of the custody. Family members of Andrea also stated to the police that he was physically abusing her, which actually led to the breakdown of their marriage. He was isolating her from everyone during their relationship. He was causing problems for Andrea, and he even threatened her family. They reported an incident in 2020, but he was acquitted of the charges. He also has YouTube channel.
Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Andrea and I'm from Croatia, and this video is actually going to be the introduction of my car.
He opened the channel back in 2013, but it wasn't until years later that he started posting the videos. And videos are about how to fix the car or how to upgrade the car, showcasing the cars. On the night of the murders at around 10 p.m., he called Andrea's parents asking why she didn't pick up the daughter and if they knew where she is. And they said no, she never showed up. And listen to this. He said that his friend that lives close to Andrea said that there has been a murder nearby and that he would go and check if it was Andrea. I was flabbergasted. Suspicious to the core, Andrea's parents rushed to Andrea's place and found out that Andrea and Marijan were the victims of a horrific murder. Shockingly, Andrea came to the funeral with his family. At that time, he hadn't been implicated in the murder, but Andrea's family already had their own suspicions. Andrea's sister Matea asked him to leave the funeral. Police has since charged him with ordering the murder of Andrea and Marijan. He denies the guilt and he stayed silent during the questioning. And this is where we are at with this case. And we will need to wait for the trial to see what punishment, if any, these three men will receive. And I want to end this video with a quote Andrea once shared on her Instagram. Be grateful for life. Not everyone makes it this far. Thank you for being here. You can share your thoughts and opinions in the comments, and we see each other in the next video.